I have experienced homelessness, domestic violence, all forms of abuse throughout my life, also even human trafficking, um, divorce, you name it. I've experienced it. And I have a show now called Nine Lives. That's what I'm on tour with. It is all about my traumatic experiences. And I play nine different characters in order to testify on at least nine different experiences. And as I'm traveling with it right now, I'm realizing that, wow, a lot more people have experienced these things than I thought. So I'm just so grateful to be able to share my testimony and know that it's helping so many people around the world because I'm no longer silent about it.
As a young child, Edwina Adams was quiet by nature. She would whisper when speaking. In boot camp, she was thrashed for not yelling loud enough. But when she discovered her ex-husband was a con man, she started to make noise, proving you don't have to be loud to make some noise. Now Edwina's on a mission to motivate. So kick back and tune in for candid conversations with those who have harnessed the power of their voices. Let's make some noise.
Welcome to Let's Make Some Noise, where you can make some noise no matter what you sound like, and where noise is my acronym for a narrative of inspiration, strength, and encouragement. And today I have Vitelle joining us. She's an entertainer, performing in films, commercials, fashion shows, and more. She's also a speaker, a writer, director, producer. And if that isn't enough, she has a nonprofit. But she's had roles in things such as Tyler Perry's I Can Do Battle by Myself, Lifetime's Drop Dead Diva, and the CW's Vampire Diaries. So, welcome, Vital. I know you're joining us from the road, so thanks for being here today.
Oh, yes, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so wow, what a list of accomplishments you've had. On this show, we are very authentic and vulnerable here. So, I want to find out, what were you like as a child?
Oh, that is a good question. Considering I can't remember much of it, honestly, because of traumatic experiences, and that is one of the side effects of that. But I can tell you from what I do know that I have always wanted to be an actress. It's just something that's always been there. I don't remember ever not wanting to be an actress. So I've always, been the person entertaining everyone. Not necessarily wanting the spotlight, but wanting to make sure everyone feels a certain way and knowing that I have the ability to make them feel that way in the way that I'm acting. So I've just always done plays in church, school, all of those things. I even used to play movies, is what I used to call it, in the neighborhood. I would gather all the kids together and put on movies and shows. And so I've always done what I'm doing now. I just happen to do it for a living now.
So you had a lot of practice before you got into it professionally.
Right. Exactly.
Because I like to talk about taking our pain and turning it into purpose. You can share as little as much as you want, but what type of pain do you feel you're using, if that makes sense, that you're using in a positive way today?
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you, I am an open book. Literally, I have a book about this. It's a memoir of my life called I Am, a Poetic Ensemble. It's written in poetry format. And I vaguely touch on all of my experiences to an extent. It's kind of an introductory book for the ones that are to come that are going to elaborate a little bit more. But I will say that I have experienced homelessness, domestic violence, all forms of abuse throughout my life, also even human trafficking, um, divorce, you name it. I've experienced it. And so I have a show now called Nine Lives that's what I'm on tour with. So apologize for any background noises that may take place right now as I'm on the move promoting that at the moment. But it is all about my traumatic experiences. And I play nine different characters in order to testify on at least nine different experiences. So it took nine people, not just myself, in order to express the different challenges that I've had. And as I'm traveling with it right now, I'm realizing that, wow, a lot more people have experienced these things than I thought. So I'm just so grateful to be able to share my testimony and know that it's helping so many people around the world because I'm no longer silent about it. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. Like I said, I am an open book. So.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. And where where can people see this? If they don't, if they're not in an area where you're doing this tour, is it going to be available to watch somewhere?
So it's not available to watch. It is an experience that you kind of have to be there. It's part film and part live theatrical performance. And again, it's just an experience involving the audience. So every single show is completely different. Right now, we have 9 cities lined up to bring it to, kicking off in 2025, starting with Orlando. So we've taken requests to any city, but we have those cities lined up. But we do take requests to other cities as well. So you can always request it to your city if you're not on the list already.
My gosh, I love that so much. Okay, I'm gonna get information about that. See about you coming here because we have a place here where they bring in uh, things, so that would be amazing. But what, so trafficking, wow. Sadly, because people like you have the courage to come forward and talk about it, more and more people are saying, "Oh my gosh, yes, that was my story." And what I learned, I briefly lived in Chicago for 3 years and moved back to Texas in 2020. But while there, uh, I met people who worked closely with this. And then my husband is a mental health therapist and he was working with children and he worked with girls who had been trafficked, and it's not just girls, but um, what I now know, and I really didn't think about it until then, was that most trafficking is done with somebody you know, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
It could be a family member, family friend.
Hmm. Next door neighbor. For me, it was next door neighbor. Yep.
Oh my gosh. So thank you for bringing attention to that and helping other people. I'm a crier, helping other people have the courage to talk about it. Is that what you're finding, that more people are coming out and saying, "Oh, what? That was me."
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah. Especially recently, I shared, as I mentioned before, the story that I began to share was very vague and very like anybody can relate to it. We've all been through something. But as I get more and more specific, as I share more, so recently I shared specifically that my first child was born of that situation. And so, even in sharing that for the first time, just this last show that I did, I was able to talk about that because I had had that conversation with him finally after 19 years. So it was like, I can talk about this now. And it was so freeing. But what really surprised me was how many people came up to me after the show and said, "Hey, I also have a child as a result of rape." And I'm like, "What? This is happening this much?" Like, if 3 out of 10 people are telling me this, you can only imagine. Like, my mind is completely blown. So, yeah, that's one of the things that's amazing with this show is just it takes someone to, like you said, have the courage to say it first, and then everybody else is like, okay, that's me too. I can relate, and I'm just like, wow. And like sometimes that's healing in itself, just for people to know that they're not alone, they're not going through these things alone, because that's how it feels when you're going through it and you're not talking about it, so you don't know until someone else says something. So that's just an amazing part of the experience right there.
My gosh, so powerful. Wow. How many years were you in the entertainment industry before you decided to do this?
Well, I'm not in the entertainment industry now. I'm still an actress first. I just, decided to kind of focus most of my energy on this. So I started in 2009, full time. But even prior to then, I was, keep maintaining the day job and still doing the acting on the side and all of those things, for, more than 20 years. So, yeah.
I know there's so many people who want to be in the industry and work for years. How did you get into it?
Yeah. So the industry is really about who you know. I have realized that over the years of just meeting people and networking, it becomes more and more easier to get work, and to get to the point where you don't even have to go audition anymore. You just have people calling you because they know that you're an actress. So just building that name for yourself, and your own calling card. But to start out, I had to do extra work. I had to, I started out in plays with the church, as I mentioned earlier, and with school. Yeah, and just whatever was going on in the community, just going online and searching and finding out what I can audition for, and just getting my foot in the door. And so it just built over time, and over the years, to where, once you have a name for yourself, it kind of just goes from there and becomes the entity of its own. So now I have to turn stuff down a lot because I get like so bombarded by so many different projects, and I have to really decide like what's most productive. And that's why I'm focusing more of my energy on, because I know this is my purpose with my show Nine Lives and the shows that I produce. So I want to focus on things that are purpose driven, and not just for entertainment or just for the sake of getting a check or anything like that. So that's the reason my main focus.
I love that. And honestly, I've been in business for almost 20 years, and the same thing goes for business, right? You've got to prove yourself, and then you kind of your name becomes its calling card. So I know sometimes people say that negatively about your industry, but really it's the same anywhere. Um, for one, life is not fair, right? Some people get these opportunities to do unique things, but also, do they want to go through what you went through? You know?
Yeah, yeah.
So I think sometimes it's easy for people to see the good and the fun and the glamour of something, and they don't slow down to think, but what else I but what else is she about? What else has happened? Because we all have things that we're dealing with, good and bad. Um, but like I said, it takes people like you who are willing to show up and be vulnerable and share that and use your platform. So you've built this literally a platform that you can stand on and share it. Um, Man, I can only see really powerful things happening from that. Um, how can people connect with you if they want to, talk to their town and say, oh my gosh, let's get this show here? Where would they go?
Absolutely. So I make it really easy to connect with me. All you have to do is go to Vitelle.net. That's Vitelle.net. You can find all my social media there, access to tickets, ways to contact and book, and all of that stuff is in one place.
Okay. Well, just for fun, because people like learning more about people, right? So what has been your favorite part about being an entertainer?
Hmm. My favorite part. So usually people ask me, out of all the things that I do, what's my favorite, and I would say acting. But so to say my favorite part, I would say, probably the variety of, so I'm the type of person, like, I can't do a 9 to 5. I can't do, like, I'm doing the same routine every single day because I'll get bored of it eventually. So just being able to know that by the time I get bored of this particular job or being this particular character, it's over, and then I'm on to the next one. So I think that's my favorite part about it, is that I don't ever have to like just stay here. I can just keep it moving, and experience new things, and live that. That's what feeds me. That's the type of energy that feeds me in life, is just newness all the time. Like, I'm the type of person, I rearrange my furniture
Oh, girl, me too. Yeah.
constantly. I can't. The house looks the same for too long. It's so that's me, and I love that it feeds that part of me.
Yeah, that does sound fun. I was a military brat, so I moved around and I get bored too. I'm like, okay, I've been here too long. It's time for change.
Right. Every time I tell people I travel full time, they're like, "Are you in the military?" I'm like, "No, it's worse. It's the entertainment industry." But I love it. Yeah.
Right, right, I'm sure. So let's also talk about your nonprofit, Feed the Homeless Tour. Like you said, you move around a lot. So you have this Feed the Homeless Tour where you can help homeless wherever you're at. So explain that to me because I love this concept.
So that is something that I started, I want to say back in 2009. And I don't want to say that it's not active right now, but I'll say that we've had to pull back and do things privately right now because we were getting a lot of pushback from the government. So that's something that, unfortunately, I've got a book coming out. You guys look out for it. It's called The Homeless System. So you guys can just imagine what that's about. And so I don't speak on it openly as much anymore because I don't want to get thrown back in jail. Um, but I'm still, that's a mission that's close to home and is a part of my heart. I used to go out every single Monday in Atlanta, Georgia, and feed the homeless there every week. And rain or shine, we'd be there. And we did that for so many years to the point that, all the homeless people knew us there. But then of course, the police would show up and intimidate us and try to make us stop doing it. And then eventually they changed the laws to make it actually illegal to feed people in Atlanta. So, um, yeah, yeah, it's pretty interesting. I'm like, wow, I'm that much of a threat that we're changing laws and stuff now. And yeah, and then I went through all this legal mess and everything because I refused to stop feeding homeless people. And
I heard about that. Yeah.
yeah, so that's a whole book for another time for you guys, but it is definitely something that's still dear to my heart. And I encourage people to keep care packages in your car, so when you do come across someone who's homeless, you can just hand them a nice little care package with maybe some snacks in it and toiletries and different things like that. That can make them feel special. And especially for those of you who may be like weary about giving people cash, then that's something I encourage people to keep in their vehicle with them.
Yes. I did that for many years. I had those care packages in my trunk. And I don't talk about this a lot, but I just had a Facebook memory pop up where my husband had dressed like Santa and my two kids, they're 12 and 10 now, but they were younger then. And they're holding his hand. We're in downtown Chicago, and he had a huge, I'm talking huge red Santa bag full. We had all of us, even the kids, hand written and signed Christmas cards,
I love that.
and we had candy attached to each Christmas card or a bag and then the card inside. And we handed them out to homeless people because I was thinking, when is the last time they got a Christmas card and just some candy, like, and so I had the picture of him, and I don't like it when people post the pictures where they're giving it directly to the home. And, like, that's a human, that's a person. We don't know their backstory, why they're there. I'm not trying to blast them on social media that look at me for giving them a card, but but it was such a fun thing to do with our kids. And we would do it, we would do other things like buy a bunch of hamburgers and go pass them out and different things. So I like your heart for that.
Right. I love that. Yeah. And that's one of the things, like with me focusing on mental health right now, it still helps with that situation because I did learn through helping the homeless that a lot of the problem and the reason we still have so many homeless is a mental issue. There's a lot of people out there that are dealing with mental health issues, and and just that's kind of why they're stuck. So I believe it all starts in the mind. It's a solution to a lot of things, and homelessness is one of them. So if I can help with that part, then I still can, in a lot of ways, eradicate homelessness by helping with mental health.
Definitely a worthwhile community. I appreciate your time today, and I know you're busy. You got the tour to get back to. So I will make sure people have your web address and our show links, and we'll put, on-screen text for those watching the show. But definitely go check out Vitale, follow her and her journey, and see if you can get her show to your town. I'm going to see if I can. But do you have?
Yes, please do. What town are you in?
I'm in College Station, Texas, so we have a big university here.
Sis, okay. We're coming to Houston. How far is that from Houston?
About an hour and a half north.
Yeah, we're coming to Houston. I can't remember the date off the top of my head. I got it somewhere here. Yeah, we're coming to Houston during the tour as well. So yeah, hopefully you can make it to that one if not.
Very cool. I'll get with you and get those show dates. Um, all right. Do you have any final thoughts for us today at all?
Just thank you so much for having me. I apologize. I feel a little scatterbrained because I'm like pulling every different direction now, but I definitely appreciate you doing this show and just keeping that positive message circulating because we need more good people in the world. We have enough nonsense and things that are just entertaining and make you laugh or whatever. We need things that move people. We need more stuff that inspires people to want to make a difference and make the world a better place. And I think if we had more people like that on the earth, it would definitely be a better place. So just thank you for what you do, and I just want to encourage anybody else who maybe has something in their heart that they want to share with the world, or something that they want to contribute, to just do it, and don't make any excuses. Don't let anything hold you back or stop you, because everyone can make a difference in as many lives as you can. Even if you just touch one person in a day, that makes a difference in the world. So keep doing what you do. Thank you so much.
Thank you for those kind words, and I agree with everything you're saying. So, with that, I can't say anything better than those words. So, thank you everybody for being here today, and keep making noise.
Hey, thank you for listening. Two things. If today's episode brought you inspiration, strength, or a new perspective, I would be so appreciative if you subscribe and leave a review. Your feedback helps me keep bringing stories and insights that matter most to you. And second of all, to stay connected or engage with the community, go to edwinaadams.com/links. That's LINKS. And remember, you're one step closer to building beyond your adversity and crafting a life of impact and purpose. Keep making noise, and we'll see you on the next episode.